I'm gonna make my salted honey iced latte, and I actually found this Manuka honey at Home Goods randomly, and Manuka honey is typically really expensive. I've seen this for as much as like $30. This was $6. So just throwing it out there, if you're looking for Manuka honey, Home Goods has potentially the solution for you that will not break the bank. All you need is a little bit of, I use Malden's flaky sea salt, honey, espresso, ice in your cup of choice. Oh my gosh, it's already late. And I use whole milk. You can use whatever milk you want, but I use whole milk, and that is how you make the greatest latte of all time. This is so good. It tastes like a coffee shop latte. So. Usually right before I have my coffee or right after I have my first coffee of the day, I do this duo, so the coconut cult and sea moss gel duo. This is just for optimal gut health, and I think the sea moss gel has been really helping with my hair, skin, and nails as well.
Side, because mine are mostly, and we think about like a grape, because I do these every month. Right?
Yeah.
And if I see someone like me that has a lot of connection, I'm like, maybe I'll do something for free just because it's gonna cross-pollinate our names.
Yeah, I would love that. I think we should do that. That's awesome. Oh, this was fun.
Yeah. Just there, look that linked helper. We could run it. You could even run it on your computer.
Sounds familiar, but I don't know if I know him. Yeah, shoot me the link. I'll join if I can. I have some other calls later today, but if I can join, I absolutely will.
I'll put in your LinkedIn, okay?
Perfect. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks. I'll have this probably up in the next week or two.
Yay. Okay, cool. I'll talk to you. I just filmed a podcast, which was super fun. I am trying to do more of those this year. It's kind of on my vision board to appear on more podcasts, speak at more events, and things of that nature. So that was a great opportunity to do that. And now I have a few calls today. I'm kind of just gonna get back to work probably until around 3, and then I'll take a little break for a late lunch, and I'll check back in with you guys. I wanted the first part of this vlog to be a little overview of the books that I've read so far this summer and the books that I will be reading this summer. And I also want to talk about some of the books that I read in the springtime as well. I was doing a lot of international travel, as you guys know, and so I wasn't reading as much in the month of April, but it picked up a little bit in May, and I do want to talk about some of my faves from the springtime as well. So we've got this huge stack of books here. I'm going to go through my summer TBR as well as the books that I've read so far and give you little mini reviews. As you can see, this stack in front of me, these are all of the books that I read. I would say I read most of these before my South Africa, Germany, London trip. Oh, we have a friend. Say hi, lady. And then I just finished a couple of these. So I do want to give you non-spoiler reviews of all of these books. I also DNF'd 1 or 2 of these books, so I will tell you which ones. And again, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but I will give you a brief reason as to why. Okay, so starting with potentially my favorite of all of them is Carly Fortune's new book, Our Perfect Storm. This is the perfect friends to lovers trope. I don't always like friends to lovers because I feel like if it's not done right, it can just be kind of frustrating. As the reader, you can kind of just be reading thinking okay, why aren't you guys together? It's so clear to everyone but you. But this, I think, was really well done and one of my favorite friends to lovers / romance books. Also, I was just craving the setting where this took place. It just felt like a world that I could disappear into. I really thoroughly enjoyed this. I love Carly Fortune so much. And then this is again one of my highest ranking books of the year, I would say, and it's Love in Plain Sight by Lauren Connolly. First of all, my man is a pilot, and so I saw this at the bookstore and I was like, okay, I gotta get this because Chris is a pilot. I didn't have any expectations for it. I literally didn't even read the back of the book. I just saw the cover and I was sold. This is hands down one of my favorites. It's kind of frenemies to lovers. Not enemies to lovers, but I don't know. And it's also giving like Grumpy Sunshine vibes, which I do love that trope. It's really well done. I will say my one gripe with this story is that the plot was a little hard to follow. There were a lot of moving pieces with like the issue, or like the big secret in the book. And I was like, at one point I was like, this is getting so convoluted. But I think what saved it for me is the romance, the spice, the chemistry between the two main characters. Unreal. And I also love the like secondary characters. They're super funny, and you also get a little bit of their love story, which I love. So I overall would probably give this a 4 out of 5 star rating, and I really enjoyed it. I think I would give Our Perfect Storm, I can't think of any reason why this wouldn't be a 5-star book. So I would say this is 5 stars, and I would say this is 4 stars. Okay, the first book that I DNF'd is An Irish Summer by Alexandra Page. And I want to start off by saying I would love to read more from this author because I think the writing was so good, and I don't have any issues with like how it was written. My main issue was the main character. Like I got so frustrated with her. The way she made decisions, the way she thought, like I didn't enjoy reading from her perspective. And so I'm not gonna lie, I DNF'd this. I might pick this back up and finish it, but for now, this is one of my DNFs. I'm so sorry for anyone who liked it. I didn't hate it, I just kind of lost interest because the main character was sort of pissing me off. So I'm not gonna rate that one because I didn't finish it. Okay, speaking of Carly Fortune, this is another one of my all-time favorite summer romances. I feel like Carly Fortune is just the queen of like summer romances. One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I would give it a 4.75 out of 5. I loved it. I felt like there were a couple curveballs that were thrown in this book that didn't really amount to anything, and one of the main curveballs kind of pissed me off because it like, not only did it not really amount to anything, but I don't think it was necessary. Like it didn't really follow the arc of the characters very well, but I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say what it was, but I'll just say that barring that, this would have been a 5-star read for me. It's so good. And speaking of settings, I feel like something Carly Fortune does really, really well is immerses you in the world without making the world building too heady, if that makes sense. So if you're someone who likes to read books where it's more relationship focused, but you still feel like you're like immersed in the world, I would 100% recommend this. I also finished this in like maybe 2 days. It flew by. It was so good. So I would say 4.75 out of 5 for this one. Okay, next up, this isn't like a summer book by any means, but I've always wanted to read this series. I've been fascinated by it. I think this is one of the series that has very polarizing reviews. I loved it. I was so upset. I literally read this in less than 2 days. I tore through it. I was obsessed with it. It's not really enemies to lovers, but like sort of enemies to lovers. It's so good. It's definitely like touch her and die vibes. Very like possessive. So I guess if you're not really into that, you probably wouldn't like this book, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed this book. The pages turned in this book like a movie. And I will say, like, there were so many surprises in this book that I would have never ever seen coming. Like, I normally pride myself on being able to sort of predict like what is gonna happen in a book, especially if it's like not a thriller or mystery book, because I've read so many thrillers and mysteries that I'm pretty good at figuring out like if there's gonna be a plot twist. But I absolutely could not figure that out for the life of me. This is not a thriller, by the way, or a mystery. It's like a pure romance book, but it has some thrilling aspects to it for sure, and some like kind of sad things too. I would definitely say some like trigger warnings for this book would be like death of a parent, suicide. Those aren't like overwhelming themes in the book, but I just would say if anyone's like sensitive to those subjects, this might not be for you. But for me, I would say this was a 5-star read. I loved it. So that is Twisted Love by Anna Huang. Okay, I can't tell if I'm gonna DNF this or not. This is Layla by Colleen Hoover. So I recently started this book and I read the first like, I think 5 chapters. Where did I leave off? Hold on. No, I read the first 4 chapters. I can't tell if the writing is intentionally very cheesy because we're living in the guy's mind at first. I don't know if we get a dual POV, but we're in the guy's mind and he's like not really like a washed up musician, but he's a musician playing in like a gig band. He's kind of, I don't want to say like lazy, but he doesn't have a lot of ambitions in life. He doesn't have any friends. This is not the kind of person I would want to be friends with or like associate myself with in real life. So I feel like being inside of his mind is kind of ruining it for me. There are just some very cheesy things that happen in the first chapter in specific, which I'm like, I'm having so much trouble reading through this because it's making me physically cringe. I really like the plot though, the back of the book, so I'll just give you a synopsis. When Leeds meets Layla, he's convinced he'll spend the rest of his life with her, until an unexpected attack leaves Layla fighting for her life. After weeks in the hospital, Layla recovers physically, but the emotional and mental scarring has altered the woman Leeds fell in love with. In order to put their relationship back on track, Leeds whisks Layla away to the bed and breakfast where they first met. Once they arrive, Layla's behavior takes a bizarre turn, and that's just one of many inexplicable occurrences. So that to me is really interesting. I'm really excited to read this, or I was really excited to read this until I read the first few chapters and I was like, what? So I think I might keep going with this, but for now, this was a DNF, unfortunately. Okay, ooh, this actually slipped its way in here. I have not read this yet. This is on my TBR, so I'm gonna put this over here. This I actually read in audiobook format when I was walking around Germany, and it was magical. So this is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. It is so charming and cozy, and it has like just the right pinch of spice and romance and suspense. It's got like a creepy evil villain in it too who causes chaos. It's a little sad, like there is definitely a sad thing that happens in the book, but it does get rectified, so that's good. It's also a really beautiful book about like community and friendship, and I just really liked it. I loved this book. I know that there's also another book in this series. I'm forgetting what it's called off the top of my head, but I think I will put that on my TBR for summer. But this was really sweet, so I'll read you the back of it. After a lifetime of bounties and bloodshed, Viv is hanging up her sword for the last time. The battle-weary orc aims to start fresh, opening the first ever coffee shop in the city of Thune. But rivals, old and new, stand in the way of success, not to mention the fact that no one has the faintest idea what coffee actually is. I loved this. I just thought it was like very cozy, and it's such a pure fantasy, especially if you like, I don't know, if you like games like Dungeons and Dragons, if you're into that kind of fantasy lore, I think you would really like this. So yeah, it's a must read for every D&D player who's ever wondered what happens after happily ever after is literally what one review describes. So I would put this on your list if you're into cozy fantasy and you don't need as much spice or romance, because there are romantic themes in this book, but that's not like the heavy, I don't know, it doesn't come across as much as other themes. So very good, really liked this, listened to it while I was walking around like really charming towns in the German countryside, which I feel like was the perfect setting for this book. So I really liked this. I would give this a 4 out of 5. And honestly, for me, the only reason for a loss of a star is I personally like more romance and like spice, but honestly, it was still a really good read. So I would definitely give this a try. Now for my summer TBR, these are all the books that I would like to try to get through during the months of June, July, and August. Now, this is very ambitious, and I don't know if I'm going to get through all of these because I have quite a bit of travel coming up. I am going to Costa Mesa in California for a week in July. Later this month, I'm going to Chicago for my best friend's wedding. And then for pretty much the entire month of August, I will be in Australia, working out of our office in Sydney. So as exciting as all of that is, I don't know how much time it's gonna leave for me to read, but we're gonna see what we can do. Okay, so first on my TBR is The Business Trip, which is, I believe, a relatively new, like, thriller. This looked really good. I'll just read you, like, the first sentence. Stephanie and Jasmine have nothing and everything in common. The two women don't know each other, but they've boarded the same plane. Stephanie's on a business trip and Jasmine is fleeing an abusive relationship. After a few days, they text their friends the same exact message about the same man. Soon, the messages become stranger and more erratic, and then the two women vanish. I'm sold. That sounds really good. that's first on my TBR. And then I have a bunch of like, I'd say like romances. I'm trying to read more seasonally, if that makes sense, because I just find that it feels really fulfilling to me to read books that are like aligned with the season that I'm in. So this is No Place Like You by Jillian Meadows. It looked really cute, and on the back it says it's an irresistible spring romance featuring friends to rivals to lovers, a small town setting, fake dating, and animal sidekicks. Sold. So I'm really excited to read this one. And then I've seen this everywhere, In Your Dreams. This looked really good to me, and it's by the author Sarah Adams. I know she's been getting a lot of attention lately, and a lot of people have been talking about this book, so I'm really excited to read this. And I don't know much about it. I actually haven't even read the back of the book yet. I was purely going off of like vibes and the cover. So I will update you guys. A homecoming to Rome, Kentucky sparks a new romance between two old family friends. From the New York Times best-selling author of When in Rome, Practice Makes Perfect, and Beg, Borrow, or Steal, including a bonus chapter and a playlist from the author. Okay, I love when authors give playlists for their books because I actually will listen to the playlists. So that's one of my favorite things. Let's see what the playlist is. Oh, this is cute. It's not the playlist, but I really like... I love a good, like, map of the world. I think that's super sweet. Okay, I'm not seeing the playlist anywhere. Maybe it's in the back. Oh, it is! Okay. In Your Dreams playlist. Wow. Okay, so it literally goes chapter by chapter and gives you a song recommendation for each chapter. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm obsessed with that. Okay, that makes me 10 times more excited to read this book, so yay! Okay, and next up on my TBR is Mistakes We Never Made by Hannah Brown. Now, I love Hannah Brown. She was my favorite bachelorette. I'm super excited. I actually started listening to this audiobook on the plane, and I came home and I was like, I actually want to read this book. I don't know if that ever happens to you guys, like you start reading in one format and you're like, actually, I want to read in another format. But that happened to me, so I picked this up, like the hard copy, and I'm super excited to read this. So we'll let you guys know. Next on my TBR is, I think, a relatively new Frida McFadden. Frida McFadden is hit or miss for me, like at all times. I have read, I think, 4 of her books, and I've loved half of them, not really loved the other half. So it's very much hit or miss for me, but this is The Divorce by Frida McFadden, and I'm excited to read this because it just looks interesting and different. Like it's got like a more unique plot, I think. So I will let you guys know how this one is. And then some exciting personal news for you guys. Chris and I are getting engaged soon. It has not happened yet, but I'm really excited for when it does. And so I saw this at the local bookstore and I was like, why don't we manifest this? Summer Proposal, or The Summer Proposal. And I loved the sprayed edges on this too. I just thought it was like a beautiful book. And so the back of it, or like the plot, is that Georgia first meets Max Yearwood on a blind date and their chemistry is off the charts. He's insanely gorgeous and funny with the biggest dimple she's ever laid eyes on. Exactly what she needs after her breakup. Or so she thinks, until her real date arrives. So that's just the first little sentence as a teaser, but this looked really good, so I wanted to pick that up. And then Beach Read is a book that obviously I'm sure a ton of you have read. I have not. I actually did not love the Emily Henry book that I read, which I think was, Happy Place. I just didn't love that. I read that years ago, so I'm excited to pick this up, but I'm definitely not sure what to expect. I'm gonna save this for when Chris and I go to Galveston. We go once a year, usually around the summer, and I think it'll be the perfect beach read, as the title would suggest, so I'm really excited about this. Again, nothing to do with the writing style from this author. I thought this author's writing style was amazing. Just the plot didn't do it for me with the other book that I read from her, so I'm excited to read this one, and I'm hoping I like it a little bit better. And then we've got Summer in the City by Alex Astor. Alex Astor wrote one of my Favorite cozy fantasy series? Or I shouldn't really say cozy. To me, it was kind of cozy, but I don't know if anyone else would use that word to define it. It's like an action-packed fantasy series, Light Lark, anyway. But so yeah, I picked this up and I wasn't sure what to expect, but everyone was raving about it on TikTok. I'm obsessed. I'm so excited. I actually started reading this one, even though it's on my summer TBR. I've read like 10 chapters, and yeah, I'm really excited about the rest of it. So the sprayed edges got me. I was so excited because I love New York City. I used to live there, and I just feel like since this is set in New York City, one of the YouTubers I follow, Carla Espinoza, she said that New York feels like its own character in this book, and when she said that, I was like, okay, done. I need to read this immediately. So this is on my TBR to finish. And then last but not least is This Story Might Save Your Life. Now, this is a little different from the books I usually read because it feels like it's not fully a thriller mystery, but not fully like a love story, kind of maybe like a fusion of the two. I usually read either pure love stories, pure thrillers, pure cozy fantasy, pure romantasy. So I'm excited. This seems like it could be like a bit of a crossover, and I've heard really good things about this book. So this is on my summer TBR as well. This is literally all you need to make a coffee shop quality coffee. This is a Brooke Mason super simple recipe. It's a salted honey iced latte. So you brew your espresso however you want, however many shots or whatever, and then you do a pinch of salt. I use Malden's like sea salt. I don't know. Maybe you could just use regular salt too. I think she just uses regular salt. And then I'm almost out of honey. My goodness, I hope there's enough. And then just however much honey you desire. I think she does like a few swirls. I do not have that much left, so that's too bad, but so some honey, and then you mix that all together like while the espresso is still hot. And the salt kind of like cuts the acidity of the espresso, or like the bitterness, and then the honey adds a little sweetness. It is so freaking good, like so simple. And then she uses whole milk. I think she uses this brand as well, which is the one that I like to use. She mixes it all together before she pours it into the cup with ice, but I just kind of like to do it like this, so. Okay, my espresso has been mixed. Do not even look at this. I have to do dishes today. And then, voila. It's an amazing latte. It's so good, and it's so simple, and good ingredients for you. Especially if you're someone like me who likes to have like 2 coffees in a day. Good morning, vlog. It is a rainy and kind of gloomy Saturday, and all I want to do today is cuddle up with a book. So I have selected my book, A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, and I'm going to attempt to do a bit of a readathon. I would love to like finish this book and start it in the same day, start and finish it in the same day. So I have my coffee. This is so good. It honestly tastes like you'd get it at a coffee shop. Like, it's delicious. I have my coffee, I have my little cuddle bugs with me, my dogs, and I'm just gonna read for several hours and take a break when it feels natural. I'm gonna make some fluffy pancakes or something in a little bit and have some breakfast, but other than that, we're just gonna see where this morning takes us. I'm just gonna read. This is my setup, by the way. I've got my little hobby cart with me. And my hobby cart is so precious to me. I'll give you guys like a more in-depth tour of this a little later. It's kind of messy right now, but Chris built it for me, and it's basically just what it sounds like. It's literally a cart with all of my hobbies on it. So my Switch, my coloring books, my current reading list, some candles, some hand cream, my markers for my coloring books, my blue light glasses, my book lights, like just all the things. And then in this little drawer, I also keep some like overnight lip masks and linen spray and like pillow mist and stuff like that. So also, hi Daisy. Lady, my dog is trying to eat my book. But yeah, so I will give you a more in-depth tour of my little hobby cart later, but I'm gonna go read. This garden is like my happy place, my magical little happy place. I just started growing tomatoes, bell peppers, strawberries, blueberries, and then a bunch of herbs, and squash too. We're also growing squash. And lemons and limes. That's what those 2 like trees are. I'll show you in a minute. Big bushes? Not trees, but whatever. I love it out here. It's so peaceful. And I think it's the perfect backyard for our 2 dogs. It's just big enough for them to run around and have a little extra play space, and Lady loves to sunbathe. I'll show you. You sunbathing? You sunbathing? You having the best time? Those are our lemon and lime trees, and then that's one of our tomato plants. And then we've got some like herbs and squash in there. And I've planted some stuff in these pots as well. It's yet to like sprout, but there's some more herbs over there, and then some like flowers and just some really pretty stuff.
We want to use our time wisely, but we really don't need to think about like efficiency or productivity in this session, or in our yoga practice maybe ever. So right away I like to say take your time. Take your time getting settled in and really come into this first shape best you can in a way that feels just really honest and present. So maybe you're feeling good today and you're ready to unwind. Maybe you're not feeling so good today, and you selected this video to help tend to that. So wherever you are, I'm so grateful you're here. Let's take a deep breath in together just to begin together, and as we exhale, we say that we've officially begun landing here in this moment. Bring your attention inward, maybe by closing your eyes. That could help, or softening your gaze. Allowing the hands to rest gently on the tops of the thighs or the knees, wherever feels right. And whatever it means to you, come into a present state of awareness. So that could be just like doing a little full body scan. It could be, like I said, making some little adjustments to get settled in.
There's nothing quite like warm summer mornings, walking barefoot in the dew-covered grass, the morning chorus of birdsong, and sure what genre is. Oh, it's getting too bright. Oh, the sun is coming back out. We just had a rainstorm, but it is clearing up. It's so beautiful. But yeah, I know there's also romance in this. The one that I want to read after this one is this one. It's The Royals Next Door. The blurb on the back says, an ordinary summer goes royally awry when a prince and a princess move next door, bringing their handsome bodyguard with them. I'm a huge fan. I might as well teach myself and develop a skill that I have been wanting to learn and develop for so long, and that is making sourdough bread. So I'm going to harness my inner Anne Shirley through the process of making it myself and failing and trying again and failing, because I know that it can be a bit tricky to start your own starter. So there's a lovely woman that I purchased from, and her starter is 2 years old, and I've decided I split them because I'm trying to do one with a different flour and just see how it goes. But I have Betty and Penelope. So we're going to use Betty today. This is my first loaf, so I have no idea how.
So some of you know, Chris and I are getting engaged soon, and I don't want to do too much like wedding prep until we actually do get engaged and talk about like a date and all that fun stuff, but what I am allowing myself to do before he puts a ring on it is create a bunch of Pinterest boards of what my like dream bachelorette would look like, dream wedding, dream dress, like all that stuff. So that's what I'm doing. I just love Pinterest. I think Pinterest doesn't feel like a social media app to me, and that's part of why I love it so much, because you still get that like dopamine hit of scrolling and like saving things to your Pinterest boards, but you're not doom scrolling. And so I really love Pinterest. And I've had my phone like bricked all day, and Pinterest is not one of the apps that I ever brick myself out of because I genuinely love Pinterest. And another thing I like doing on Pinterest, and just like an idea for any of my book girlies, is I will usually create a book Pinterest after I read a book. So for example, I read The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. It was one of my favorite reads of all time. And I made a little Pinterest board after. I'll show it to you. It's super cute. And yeah, it was so fun to make this Pinterest board, and it felt so rewarding and like a fun little treat for finishing the book. And I just had so much fun making it. And I love these vibes too, like so much. So yeah, it was just really fun, and I like doing that for like some of my favorite games as well. So like I did that for Stardew Valley as well. And I actually found a lot of really cute like Stardew Valley crafts and stuff, so that was really fun too. But yeah, so I'm gonna be building Pinterest boards for a little while. I do want to continue building out my summer 2026 bucket list Pinterest board. I find that I am compiling just a list of things that I really want to do this summer, and that's kind of helping me be more intentional with how I spend my weekends and my days off, and even my work days after work. So I'm really loving making that little bucket list and saving like pins for inspiration and stuff like that too. It's a lot of like summer baking, summer reading, summer hikes, summer crafts, like ocean activities and things like that. So yeah, I'm excited to keep building that Pinterest board out too. But I would definitely recommend Pinterest if you are not on there. It is so much fun, and it's such a good replacement for Instagram or TikTok scrolling, because like I said, you get that same dopamine hit, but you're not going through a million videos of the news and pictures of like sad things and terrible things. So yeah, it's a really good experience. It's a good app or a good website.
You'll be excited to hear that I've been invited to one of Lady Winspear's weekly balls. I am very much looking...
I think you care too much.
Really?
Have you ever polished your skin? Which lets you pull in images from all over the internet. It could be Pinterest, it could be Google, it goes straight into my board with one click.
Good morning vlog. As you can tell, I am doing my morning skincare. Chris was supposed to come home last night, but his flight kept getting delayed and then diverted to Austin twice. So he did not come home last night. He had to stay in a hotel in Austin. But that being said, I waited up like kind of late for him because I wanted to make sure he could like get in and got home safe and stuff. So I'm a little tired, but I just had my coffee and my plants are very happy because it rained quite a bit yesterday and like pretty much all through the night. So that makes me happy. And I'm just doing this face mask, which I love. It's got 37 grams of collagen in it and it just like goes right into your skin and I love it. I feel like my skin always feels like dewy and like glowy when I'm done with this. Today, I do have a few things that I need to do later to prep for the work week, but before I do any of that, I still want to savor my weekend and read and play Stardew Valley, and I want to go on a notice nature walk as well, which is something that I saw on TikTok. Someone was talking about doing that, and it's basically just like going on a walk, and instead of just like zoning out, listening to your music or your podcast or your audiobook, you actually take the time to notice things and like stop more frequently. And I want to take more pictures of things. I want to forage little flowers or cool rocks, whatever I see. And so I want to go on a notice nature walk today as well. So maybe I'll wait for Chris to come home to do that. But before I do that though, I do want to also make a summer bucket list. So that's another thing I'm going to be doing in a few minutes here in bed. It's really good. It kind of tastes like a little bit of like a tart smoothie. I really like this. It has little strawberry bits in it too, which I love. It's really good.
Really feel like I've just gone treasure hunting and I have all of these new treasures. There's just something about rewarding yourself for small things like that is another way to make you feel so happy.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys have this app right here, the Brick app, but my phone has been bricked for 6 hours today so far. Hi, lady. Which I think is a lot of time for a Saturday. I mean, I only bricked it at like 11 a.m. So I think it's like really good for your brain to do this. Basically what happens is when you get the brick, they'll send you this little like magnet in the shape of a square, and I put mine on the refrigerator, and you use this app. So I'll show you like what the app looks like. You use this app. Oh. So you go into this app and it'll say like, right now it's bricked, but it'll say like scan to brick your phone. And then you'll scan the actual brick, which is, again, for me on my refrigerator. And then to unbrick it, you have to scan it again. So you have to be in the physical place that your brick is in. So this is sort of meant to make it so that you don't just brick and unbrick and brick and unbrick easily. But it's easy enough, obviously, so that if I like needed to go on social media, I could just like go do that. But my goal for today is 8 to 10 hours bricked, which I think is a totally reasonable goal. And that's the whole point of this vlog, is like everything I do while my phone is bricked. But yeah, I just wanted to say like Brick is not sponsoring this. This is not like paid or anything. I just really like this company and this app. And I think it's a really good idea. Now you can choose which like apps your brick locks you out of. So I have my brick rules like built in here. You can do like strict mode, block app installs so you can't like be sneaky and like re-download an app to open it, things like that. You also can do emergency unlock. I don't know what like an emergency would be, but yeah, you can use up to I think 5 emergency unlocks. And then you can also choose which apps to lock you out of. I forget where that is. Maybe activity? Okay, I forget where that is, but it's somewhere. But anyway, I chose TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram. I chose to keep Pinterest out of it because I feel like Pinterest is not a social media app, and I actually think I'm like, I gotta feel productive when I'm on Pinterest, so I chose not to brick myself out of Pinterest. But the other apps, I don't have a Facebook. You can hear my dog, she's making a commotion. I don't have Facebook, I don't have Twitter or like Snapchat or anything, so I didn't have those apps to brick myself out of, but I would just encourage you to think of like, what are the apps that you know for yourself are robbing you of your days? This whole thing kind of came from me looking at my screen time and figuring out I was spending like 6 to 8, sometimes even 10 hours of screen time a day. Like that's so crazy to me. It's just insane. So this is sort of an effort to combat that. But yeah, dog break. What you doing? What you doing? Oh.
You don't need me to tell you that human civilization is very, very old. Nevertheless, our knowledge of the religious and cultural revolution in the writings that are known as the Hebrew Bible collectively. And this course is an introduction to the Hebrew Bible as an expression of the religious life and thought of ancient Israel and as a foundational document of Western civilization. The course has several goals. First and foremost, we want to familiarize you with the contents of the Hebrew Bible.
Oh yeah, it's looking green. It's hot. Woo! It's looking so green. Yeah. Like very much not a baker. I said I'm very much not a baker, but I'm trying. Really trying. Now, I need to let it rise in the fridge for an hour at least, but I think I'm gonna do my worst. We have a special guest on the vlog. Okay. I'm gonna cover it and let it rise.
Maybe.
They look so perfect. They smell so good. I'm gonna plate one up for myself and then show you the homemade icing I made for it. Oh, these look so good. And then I made a homemade strawberry icing. Okay, we're doing a little taste test, moment of truth. Ooh. Looks like it's gonna be really hot. Okay. Here's your bite. Mmm. That's delicious. You can really taste the matcha, but it's not like bitter at all. It's like so sweet and so good. I can't even describe, like, That's amazing. And then with the freeze-dried strawberries that I sprinkled on top of the icing, adds like a little crunch.